Hey, isn't it amazing what goes on today and just terms people are using to be inflammatory? I was listening to a podcast in the New Zealand Herald, and they had this university lecturer on communication studies by the name of Christina Vogels. And they were speaking about tradwives or tradewives, tradwives. And it was like absolutely incredible what they were saying. Obviously, most of you would possibly know what a tradwife is. This term is about a woman who wants to be at home with the children, bring up her children, and maybe they do some cooking and baking. And of course, they were talking about, hey, they even make their own bread. I mean, oh, God forbid. But enough to say that she was going on about how they are far right conservative, not just conservative, but far right conservatives, as if there's something wrong with wanting to be at home, wanting to bring up your children. I know, obviously, that was the way it used to be, and that's what she is going on about, how, this could ruin what feminism, has achieved over the years. And, she said it might have a nostalgia feeling, but it's got a cult-like feeling. She's talking about like entering a cult by wanting to be home with your children. And she also said, this is crazy, isn't it? That, often they belong to a white male, a privileged white male. I mean, hello. She talked about the backlash out of Black Lives Matter or whatever, but this far-right conservatives, because around the world there is a swing back to conservatism. Now, what's wrong with any woman or man wanting to be at home with their children and, doing the cooking or whatever. But she was going on about how they got to give their any money they've got over to the husband. And, I don't want to even get into all that, but it's just the way that she's putting it. And she is saying this has come out of the post-democratic period, the Trump period. I mean, post-democratic. Why is she saying that? Trump was obviously democratically elected, and America is still democratic. So this post-democratic, they say these inflammatory terms just to rile up people. It's unbelievable. And so they're saying, hey, these tradwives are in complete submission to man and all this kind of stuff. But she's saying we've got to swing back to the liberal way of living. I think it's amazing. I think no wonder our universities in a mess. No wonder our schools in a mess. When you look at what's being taught there, DEI and all this kind of stuff, and the Inside Out community, teaching their stuff in the schools, and transgenderism and all this, and our government really needs to take stock on all that because it's ruining young people's lives. But this whole talk about what's wrong with a bit of conservatism, by the way, and it doesn't have to be far right in it, but this is what this woman was going on about and this post-democratic era. It's just incredible how people use these inflammatory words to rile up people and to make that there's something wrong out of something that's very good and wholesome. And even in our Herald, I don't know whether you remember or not, but under the COVID, there was a group of ladies who, were obviously opposed to the whole jab deal in the sense of people's free right to refuse a jab and the whole lockdown and so forth. And so the Herald was calling these women terrorists. And, that's what they're calling these women now. These are the new terrorists. Do you believe that? I mean, it's just unbelievable and diabolical what goes on in society today in relation to what people are speaking. And no wonder, as I said, our healthcare system's in a complete mess. We know that. Our education system's in a mess. And the world is in a mess. I mean, I was just, to digress, but listening to the British Prime Minister, and he was talking about the need to make more weapons and make more warplanes and so forth because, talking about going to war with Russia. Why would you do that? Why would you say that? I mean, I know people make a lot of money out of war. It's terrible, really. People die in war. War's a horrible thing. And yet, a lot of these people in power, they're pushing for war here and war there. It's just crazy. So, any case, obviously, these tradwives, well, it's a whole new deal, brave new world. And if women want to stay at home, bring up the kids, good on them. I think it's great. Unfortunately, of course, today, a lot of households can't afford that because, the way society's gone, the way the government has pushed two people into the workforce because of the cost of living, the cost of housing, and all that's wrong too. But We've got Chloe down there wanting to in Parliament. I see she's the third preferred Prime Minister. Do you believe that? I mean, if she got in a socialistic agenda, her and the party marry the Greens, I mean, it'd just be absolutely. I think I'd be leaving New Zealand. Some would probably say good riddance, but hey, I'm a Kiwi boy. I love my country. And, it's crazy. She's, has brought out all this new policy about how the rich can fund, free healthcare. Healthcare is in a mess, I told you, but, free dental, free this and free that. It sounds good. But of course, this is for the people, of course, who are on a benefit, unemployment benefit. And if a person's genuinely unemployed looking for a job, no problem. But, hey, there's a lot of, let's be honest, people are just looking for a handout. And of course, they would love it, wouldn't they? And so, if you just give people handouts all the time, like we're doing with a lot of parts of our society today, the old story, if you, give a person a fish, you'll feed them for a day. If you give them a rod, they can feed themselves for a lifetime. But the thing is that all these handouts, and so she's wanting to tax people more so they can help all these what they call underprivileged people and so forth. And it would just be crazy, because it just breeds a society that just, a socialist society that just feeds on the government, feeds on all the handouts and all that. So, I don't know how people would even think that she could run the country. Let's just be honest. And that was only part of it. But, let's just come back to this Tradwives for a moment. And I just say all the women who want to be at home and can afford to be at home, and some of them would make sacrifice, I know, to be there in relation to maybe expensive overseas holidays. I don't know. But, I just say, well, good on you. And it's great. Children need to be brought up, obviously, by their parents and mum and dad. And the mum and dad are the best, and it's been proven without even debating it. A male and a female, mum and dad, as the most stable family unit in the world, and that's when the kids do best, obviously in a good marriage. So hey, I just wanted to mention that, how ridiculous some of these terms are today, these far right conservative, the inflammatory post-democratic society, white male privilege, all these terms, far right. It just breeds division. It breeds bitterness and hatred in people, and it's just wrong. And we need to get back to, normality. And so, in any case, hey, God bless you. I just said I'd share that with all you wonderful people out there.